Today is a wonderful day. The Nobel Peace Prize winner was announced, and it is Maria Corina Machado from Venezuela for her work in fighting the dictatorship in Venezuela and promoting democracy, tirelessly promoting democracy at her own risk. She's being actively persecuted, she's been living in hiding, but she's still fighting. I saw the call where they called her before the conference, and she is so amazing and she is so humble. She is a true leader, a real leader. She was, of course, her immediate response was thank you, but I didn't do this alone. This is a collective effort. She refused to hoard this as a unique prize and an achievement done all on her own. The White House response made me cackle because the person that released the statement, of course, they didn't congratulate her because no narcissist ever would. They said that Trump has the heart of a humanitarian and that we will never see another person that through sheer force of will move mountains. Let's be clear. Harassing world leaders and the United Nations to nominate you for fictitious wars is not it's not how you win a Nobel Peace Prize. I will say that declaring war on your own people is definitely not a qualifier, but I will tell you what they said were things that qualified her at the bare minimum to receive this prize. And let's be clear, the entire conference, the entire message in this conference was for Trump and the American people. You need to watch it. Even if this is not your party, even if you're not a Democrat, if you are an American, you need to go watch this. This was a message to all of us. The three things that they said that were the bare minimum that qualified her for this were the bringing opposing parties together, the resistance of the militarization and use of the military against their own people, which is what we're dealing with right now. Her steadfast effort. She was steadfast in the peaceful transition of power. She has, of course, worked very hard towards trying to bring democracy back into a country that fell under a dictatorship. And a lot of the things that they described in this conference, very, very often, he emphasized the importance of democracy. And more importantly, he emphasized the courage that civilians must have in the peaceful resistance of dictatorships. And that resonates really hard for us Americans right now because that's what we're dealing with. Some highlights were we need to keep the flame of democracy burning against a growing darkness. The demand for free elections and representative government, meaning it's not just going to be the one party with rigged elections. The suffering that the people go through in a dictatorship is exactly where what we're falling into right now. The 1% that hoards all the wealth and all the money. And it's not just their personal wealth, it's all the federal taxes that we pay into the system. They use our federal money as their personal piggy banks, which is exactly what's happening right now. The free and fair elections, that it is important to have no rigging of elections, the legal prosecution of political opponents or anybody that they deem to be a political opponent, and the imprisonment of opponents. These are things that are representative of a dictatorship, and it is exactly what Trump is doing right now. He just called for some Democratic governors, to be imprisoned, to be arrested. He started prosecuting Letitia James and James Comey for doing their job. Trumped up charges, they will never stand. Many people quit because they refused to prosecute them. And when he couldn't do that, he found somebody else. This is political persecution, by the way. And the rigging of elections. A Republican just bought Dominion Systems, and he is very much in favor of Trump's removal of ballots or keeping ballots or whatever it is. He's getting help in turning this entire country into a dictatorship. And again, remember, only the rich, the super ultra rich, the 1%, the people with golden toilets, will be benefiting from our personal taxes. This is the whole point with the immigrant concentration camps. Biden got rid of private prison contracts, and as soon as Trump got into office, he reinstated that. And all these immigration concentration camps at home and overseas are held by private prison contractors. And Trump and his friends all get a kickback at the end. And by not giving these people due process and you hold them indefinitely, you can make more money from these private prisons. They make more money, meaning Trump and his friends make more money in the back end. If you give them due process, there's a limited amount of time that you can hold these people for, because at some point you have to send them home or cut them loose, meaning they get a lot less money. So you're suspending people's rights to make profit. The entire system, our entire economy, our health insurance, our homes, our food supplies, all these taxes, extra taxes that we're paying on through tariffs, these are all ways to keep poor people poor, to make the middle class poor, and to do a significant distribution of wealth, creating a massive, massive gap where you're only going to have the ultra, ultra wealthy, and all the rest of us are going to live in dirt huts. This is historical throughout dictatorships. Look at all the other countries, all these, especially some countries where they live in castles and all the people live in dirt huts. This is just the way it is. We as Americans need to peacefully resist and fight. Educate yourself. Look outside the box. See who is benefiting, because Democrats are fighting tooth and nail so that families don't lose their health insurance that they pay for. And Republicans shut the entire government down, because absolutely no way, shape, or form. Only they get money. They get our money. Please like, follow, and share.